Where would you go at noon?
We'd eat our quick lunch at noon at the school, which we were required to do. Then we would go down to the drugstore, and they always he made what they called walking Sundays. And it was in a paper cup, and you got just one scoop of ice cream, and you got chocolate sauce on it, and it cost a dime. And so that was always part of our lunch, which we always thought was really neat. But he had really great sandwiches too. But by this time I was a senior, and I had taken my lunch for 12 years, and I was so tired of taking a sack lunch for 12 years, you know. So my folks gave me money to eat lunch downtown, you know. So we'd either eat a sandwich at the drugstore.
And which drugstore was this?
The Nieces. Because they have really nice toasted ham salad sandwiches. And then, or we would go across on the west side of the street. There was a business, and I have no idea what it was called, but they had hot dogs over there, and pop, and I think that maybe they had pool tables, I'm not sure. And so we'd go in there once in a while for a hot dog.
Was that the Del Rio?
I don't.
Was it a little tiny narrow spot?
It seems like it was more like a baker's, or was there a baker's building a business over there?
If it had pool tables and stuff, it'd have to be the bigger one. Where Youngenberg's drugstore is on the corner?
Seemed like it was sort of right next door to that old building, that one building that's still standing. I think it's a laundromat.
Right in that area.
I'm not sure.
Sutherland's.
Well, I think, yeah, I think that's what it turned into.
Okay.
But that wasn't the name of it then.
Pre-Sutherland's, okay.
Yeah. And in at Nista's they had these gorgeous ice cream tables and chairs, you know. I mean, it was really a neat drugstore. And so when we came back from Cheyenne one time, I wanted those ice cream tables and chairs. And by this time, I didn't know him. I think he's Woody. And so I stopped and we went in to see if he knew where those tables were. And I introduced myself and told him who I was and that I was interested in knowing where the ice cream tables were. And I said, "Do you know where they are?" He said, "Yes, I know where they are." And I said, "Would any of them be for sale?" "No, I know where they are and I know where they're going to stay." So I turned and left. And I never saw the man again in my life. I don't know if that was just me that brought on this attitude or not.
Maybe it was that whole building.
You got it. And I think they were in the basement. I think that that's where somebody told me that all of these really neat tables and chairs were down in the basement. And I don't know why he wouldn't sell any of them. But
and now you wonder what happened to them.
Yeah, because they were the really pretty porcelain top ones, you know, or maybe the marble. As a kid, you don't really figure that out. But
So how'd you get from your home here into town?
I had an older sister, 2 years older.
Oh.
And I went 3 years to Big Lotus School, and then I went 3 years to Irving, and then by the time I finished 6th grade, then my sister was old enough to drive, and my folks did not particularly want her to go to Irving to school. They thought that Blue Rapids would offer more, so she drove, and I started junior high school. That's when so she went into high school and I went into junior high. And my sister passed away when she was 60, but I just went through some of her pictures and a box of her things, that just the other day that her husband's second wife gave me. And in there was a certificate that she got on graduation day for perfect attendance.
Oh.
You know, and for driving, we drove, what was it, 10, 11 miles, you know, all in all kinds of weather. And, yeah, and I didn't know that she'd gotten a perfect, I knew that I had perfect attendance until I was a senior. Then I got scarlet fever at that, you know, there was
Was it
scarlet
out
fever
there?
went every place, you know, that one year, and so I ended up getting that.
What year was that?
It was when I was a senior, so it had been in 38 and 39.
Okay. Because my mother, well, Whitings is my family line. And they say that, well, she died of nephritis, which is a kidney disease, but they think that it was caused from scarlet fever, and they know that she got it when she was young. So,
Yeah, that was in
it's
38 and 39. Well, then that's
She
what's
would
wrong
have
with
been-
my eyes, because my eyes, I have poor eyes, and the scarlet fever settled in my eyes, so that was, but everybody in whole high school got it, and I didn't get it, and I thought, oh man, this is great. And there was one day that everybody was back in school, and the next day I was out. I got scarlet fever, and still, I was out for 4 weeks. It was just unbelievable.
I bet that was scary too.
Yeah, it was, you know, because everything had to be, you know, fumigated, and nobody could come see me, and they couldn't bring any homework there because of books and so forth, you know, so it
Did
was.
the rest of your family get it?
My mother did.
Okay.
She was really sick with it. But the only good thing about getting scarlet fever was that when I went to get my makeup work, why, I was madly in love with my science teacher. And so I
Which was
got,
who? Who was your science?
Marvin Shad.
Okay.
And so I got to go down to see him for private tutoring for all his makeup in physics. I just loved it.
Who were some of your other teachers? Did you have Mr. Clear, Art Clear?
My sister did.
Okay. Do you remember much about him?
I don't remember anything about him. I remember Kelma Capitan, who
Yeah.
was his wife,
Second wife, was it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
because it was the Capitans that lived in this house.
Oh, okay.
Delbert Capitan and Kelma and Rosalind and I think there were 2 or 3 more. I'm not sure.
So did you buy that from them then?
No.
Oh.
Everson. Nate Everson had this house, and the Capitans bought it, and that's when we were still down here in school. And I suppose it was during the Depression that, and Delbert has a different story than what everybody else has, because he said that they really did not lose it, you know, that there was some other misunderstanding or something, but anyway, I guess they foreclosed on them, and Capitans had to move, and then so there were hard feelings about it, so Nate Everson took it back, and then it was rented for lots of times. Sometimes it was empty, and sometimes it was rented, and we bought it from Nate Everson, you know, and he had it all those years, so.
They were very musically inclined people, weren't
Yeah.
they? Capitans.
Oh, yeah.
So, but
And Rosalind, is her last name Paddock or something like
Mhm.
that?
Was,
Rosalind Paddock, yeah.
and they would, you know, quite often they would bring their children and their grandchildren back to see the house after we moved here and did our remodeling and so forth. I know this is terribly disjointed, but you were talking about businesses in Blue Rapids. I remember Sorik's drugstore, but we didn't do much business there because I liked Mises much better. But I also remember that there was a bakery over there where the VFW is, in there, there was a sort of a little place, and there was really a yummy bakery there. And I told you that I was tired of carrying lunches to school. And so, this was after my sister had graduated, so, and I think I was a senior, that I would stop there in the morning, and they would just be taking out their pineapple rolls, which was a roll and had pineapple in the middle and icing all the way around, and they would still be warm, and I'd get 3 of those for a dime.
Did you eat them all or did you share
No,
them?
I ate one while it was still warm, and then I did keep 2 for lunch.
Was that the little skinny
Yeah.
building? Okay.
Yeah.
Because the tile is still there.
Is it really?
Uh-huh, right east of the building.
Did you know it was a bakery?
We had heard that before. And,
Yeah.
and then there was a bakery east of there too, I think, in the big hotel.
Who did you guys say ran the bakery, or did you mention that?
I can't pull that up.
I have no clue.
Maxine Haller talks about it.
Yes,
Oh.
she likes the way they did rabbits,
Right.
and there was a special color or something, and you would get a free one if you bought the right one.
Rabbits.
Well, my
Chocolate
preference were
covered
these
bunny type.
yummy pineapple rolls. No.
Now, would Maxine Haller be? She was Lamb. Maxine Lamb. Would she be your?
I'm
Age?
sure, no. I'm sure she'd be much younger.
I don't know. She's up there. I don't know what year.
I turned 86 this year.
Hmm.
In October, so. I don't
They
know,
celebrate their 50th anniversary or their 60th anniversary.
I mean, it just seems
Yeah.
when I have seen her and I've talked to her that she seems much younger.
Well,
I think she
just
is.
turned 80 then, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
if that,
Okay.
because Jack's older than she is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Do you remember any of the other businesses around the square?
They had a jewelry store. Quite a nice one. Over where the 9R,
Oh,
Oh.
or the
Mm.
7 R's.
7 R's.
7Rs, okay.
Mhm. That's where the jewelry store was?
It was in there someplace.
Oh, yeah.
Probably be where the glass place is maybe, huh?
Right.
Next door.
And the newspaper office was right there too.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, my. Wouldn't that be something to be able to walk into a jewelry store in Blue Rapids?
Wouldn't that be
now?
neat?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Frankfurt had one too.
Mhm.
And the building, the really pretty stone building that's on the corner would be the southeast corner. You know,
The
by
attorney's
VFW.
office now. Mm-hmm.
That was a bank. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was the Citizens Bank. And it was one that went under during the Hoover administration and during the Depression.
Mhm.
And my uncle at that time, before that, lived in Irving and owned the bank in Irving. And when the Citizens Bank in Blue Rapids went under, then my understanding is that he bought the assets of the Citizens Bank in Blue Rapids at 10 cents on the dollar. And they moved to Blue Rapids, of course. And he closed it and ended up making 90 cents on the dollar on it. And so then ever after that, all he did was punch coupons. You know, he didn't. My dad farmed his ground and with his, and my Uncle Griff clipped coupons.
So what was his first name?
Griff. Griff. Griffith.
And his last name was?
Chitty, with the C.
Okay.
CH.
Yes. TTY.
Chitty. Oh, okay. Chitty Chitty Bang.
Chitty
Bang.
Chitty Bang Bang.
Okay. And you're born in 21.
October 21. So. And let's see.
So he never ran the bank officially?
No.
Never
not
opened
as
it
a-
and ran it?
And of course, he just thought
Mhm.
that, he was a diehard Republican, as my dad was. And he just thought that Hoover was the greatest man, greatest man in the world, you know. It was horrible, but we didn't agree on politics. And the Roach
Studio?
studio, I remember it very well.
Did you have your senior picture taken there or
Uh-huh.
anything? Uh-huh.
Several pictures taken there.
Uh-huh.
Now, where was it located at?
Where Lauren Knapp lives now.
And the
Oh,
women's league.
okay, sure.
That was Roach Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the theater very, very well. Because my family liked to go to movies, and so
Were there activities in the basement too?
not that
at
I
that
know
time?
of.
Okay.
Not that I was aware of.
What did it cost you to go to the movie?
I think a quarter. And I love popcorn, and popcorn smells just so yummy, you know. And and popcorn was a nickel bag. And I'd say, I want some popcorn. Dad, I want some popcorn. He said, we have popcorn at home.
It's not this
He
big.
said, if you want popcorn, pop your own and bring it. Which we did once in a while, but once in a while, he treated us and we got us a bag of popcorn for a nickel.
Do you know who was running the movie theater at that time?
I have no
Oh,
clue.
okay.
I remember who was running the one in Frankfurt, which is the Hardmans, but I don't, and Charlie Shevkekel ran the projector in Frankfurt, but that wasn't, but you see, besides going to movies there, we had all of our school programs and amateur hours that were the schools, and we had graduation there and that type of thing.
What
Were
was
you-
the amateur hour? Everybody
Just
was local
to
talent?
make some money and to get kids on the stage.
Okay,
you know,
local talent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, high school primarily.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who
You
was your
pro-
dog? Oh, go ahead.
Were you ever in an operetta? I think the grade school did operettas, did a musical play in there, and you might have missed that if you came
I
junior high age.
No,
You might have missed out on that.
I don't remember that, but we had our school plays there, you know, and
Who was the director for those? Your drama teacher?
oh, let me see. When I was in high school, Minnie McDaniel was a math teacher. Doris Wright was an English teacher, and it was her first year teaching, and she was young, I suppose maybe 21. And we girls didn't like her because she dated one of the high school boys that we liked, and she got to date him. And we did. So,
Happened back then too.
well, he was a senior, he wasn't a junior high school,
Yeah.
which they're picking on nowadays, you know. And that was Jack Stauffer.
Oh.
Is that a name that you're coming up with?
Yeah.
He was killed in World War II.
Oh.
He was always going to be a mortician, but he was killed in World War II.
Geneva, there's a Geneva Stauffer. Would that have been his mother?
Might have been,
On Lincoln Street?
yeah. And Bill Dean was in our class. Charles Elder was in our class. Lincoln Pope was in our class. You know, when I sometimes think I get constipation of the brain. I have trouble thinking of words and names sometimes.
We all
Yeah.
do. We all do.
So,
Well,
He's-
you said Bill Dean, which reminded me of something. Talking about scattered. The Scary Ann doll. Do you remember anything about they had a company, Scary Ann doll company there in Blue Rapids, and Pat has a Scary Ann doll, as does Gwen Turner. Do you remember seeing any little doll, any manufacturing places there?
I really don't.
And the apron factory, what year were aprons
you mean
made?
over at Frankfurt?
Well, we know about Frankfurt, but somebody said they were made in Blue Rapids also.
They started over there in Blue Rapids. and
Oh, I
moved
can't
it to
believe
Frankfurt.
that.
Hmm.
Because Trump's had the dry goods store in Frankfurt for years, you know. And then they just started in the back of the shop doing aprons, a few aprons.
Oh.
And
Maybe I
because we
mixed up the
shopped
story.
more
Maybe
in
it was they
Frankfurt, my
brought
mother
it
shopped
over to
more in
Blue
Frankfurt
Rapids.
than she did Blue Rapids.
Mhm.
What'd you say?
I might have got it mixed up and it started in Frankfurt and it moved to Blue Rapids then, when they closed
Yeah.
it down. Yeah.
Did you ever take the train, like to Manhattan to shop, or?
I took
Visit
it
people?
back and forth to college. I went 2 years to Manhattan and then graduated from Emporia Teachers. And yeah, I took the little train from Irving down to Manhattan.
Why'd
and
you
forth.
call it a little train?
Oh, because it was a little train. It was just, what, 2 or 3 cars or something of the sort.
Did it have round windows in them? Isn't that what Bob Klotz was
Uh-huh.
talking about?
Mhm.
Do you
I
remember the
don't
windows?
remember.
Okay.
Do you remember what it cost?
No.
Did you
There's
go like on a weekend and then stay down there for the week and
I'd
then?
come home on Friday,
Mhm.
and then my dad would take me over, and then we'd go back. And I remember one time that the Blue River was really up, and it was on a Sunday, and we had to, he had to drive through water, over the old Irving Bridge,
Mm.
and the old Blue River Bridge, and after you got off the bridge, then you went into water, and he had to drive the old Model A car for it through water to get me over to the train station.
That would be pretty spooky.
We've seen a lot of high water around here, so.
What was the name that you had, Lori, of the fellow for the Indian? He was from Frankfurt for the Indian information.
Roost, R-U-E-S-T.
Oh, he's the one that has found tons of Indian artifacts.
Oh.
He used to have the liquor store, Paul Roost.
Okay.
He used to have the liquor store in Frankfurt.
Okay.